Andy Ruiz just annihilated Eddie Hearn, crushed his dreams, asking for $50 million to go to the UK. Well, expect to see that fight in LA or New York. Absolutely hilarious. We're going to talk about it in this video. All right, we back. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that share. Definitely check out the live streams we do. Check out the Patreon. We got a really good video up that we just put up there today. Oh my God, man. Also check out the Twitter. Let me tell you, man. Let me tell you. Andy Ruiz on Fox, by the way, being interviewed by Marcos Villegas on Fox, right? With a big old Fox Sports sign behind him, was asked, do you have any room in the negotiation with Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua for the rematch to go to the UK, or can you try to have it in LA? Andy Ruiz looks to the side, does one of these, looks over at his people, and they're like, he's like, well, you know, it's negotiations, but he's going to have to pay me $50 million to go to the UK. Oh, that's hilarious on so many levels. I told you, rematch clauses, dog, they are not rock solid because you still have to agree on the fight. And if they put out terms that are completely unacceptable to the other team, they might turn down the rematch. Just because Anthony Joshua exercised it does not mean that that rematch is going to happen, because Andy Ruiz can say, I want $100 million and I want the fight in the Philippines. And he's going to have to say yes or no. Okay, and they said, well, it says in the rematch clause it has to be in the UK. Okay, it has to be in the UK. I want $100 million. I want $50 million for it to be in the UK. I want $50 million for it to be in the UK. That fight can't be, that fight, you know how hard that's going to be to pay Andy Ruiz $50 million for that fight in the UK. Now, before you start arguing with me, former AJ fans, all you guys that took such a major hit for not listening for years at this point about Anthony Joshua, listen to me now. The whole fight for Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium, where he sold out Wembley and set a record for the number of pay-per-views, according to you guys, for UK pay-per-view, generated $53 million tops. That's paying Anthony Joshua, paying Vladimir Klitschko, paying for all of the expenses and the stuff associated with setting up the fight. All of that came up to about $53 million. Not pounds, dollars. And so to pay Andy Ruiz $50 million, and ain't that funny? Ain't that $50 million funny? Doesn't that sound funny to you? That number, $50 million? Ooh, we got some real sarcastic ass people around in the background, because Anthony Joshua turned out, I'm not going to sell my soul for $50 million. Well, it's going to cost you $70 million to get your soul back if you want it over there in the UK. Otherwise, my friend, come on to LA, come to New York. It's going to be on Fox. But I know some of you guys are hard-headed and you don't believe that you believe that they've just got all this money in the UK, right? Let's just look at some simple figures, okay? $50 million just to pay Andy Ruiz. Let's assume, let's work backwards from $50 million, okay? If you say you can get 100,000 people into Wembley Stadium, which you can't, by the way. It's beyond capacity. But let's just imagine that you can get 100,000 people in there because I like round numbers. That would be $100 a ticket average, because you got people way up there in the bleachers that ain't paying no more than that. $100 average cost of a ticket. That is a $10 million gate. Okay? A $10 million gate. All right, fair enough. $10 million gate. That's about the gate that was given for Vladimir Klitschko and them. I think the ticket prices might have been higher, so maybe you can get the average ticket price a little over $100 US. But let's just assume that they get $10 million gate. That leaves another $40 million to account for just to pay Andy Ruiz. That would mean where could you get $40 million from? You would need, at $25 US a pay-per-view, you would have to do 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. 1.6 million. And that would be $40 million, right? Plus $10 million equals $50 million. And that's just to pay Andy Ruiz. AJ has to get paid, doesn't he? So where can the rest come from? How much money is it going to cost DAZN? Well, Anthony Joshua got $20 million, $30 million, didn't he? For the $30 million for that fight? So DAZN would have to, on top of that, kick in $30 million to pay Andy Ruiz. But that's a problem. That's $80 million. That sounds reasonable. But what about the fact that you actually have to make money in the event? And the things cost money. So your revenue for the fight, to make that $80 million, you got to find $20 million somewhere else just to say that you made 20%. So AJ at 30, Ruiz at 50, means you got to come up with another $20 million somewhere just to make 20%, right? Which means if any of these numbers go wrong, you could lose money right away. You're working on razor thin margins with all of that, because you still got to pay people. This stuff costs money. No is the answer. You're not going to do that. Okay? They're not going to do that. And that's just if they say 50. And that's just what he said. He might say 60 when he's sitting there talking on Fox with Fox pay-per-view right there. Guess who got $50 million, dog? Guess who got $50 million? Because they might say, you know what we want? We want AJ and Ruiz on Fox. and to boot, if you're gonna sign this contract, dog, I need a rematch clause. Yeah, we can run it back, but I'm also gonna need a rematch clause myself. So, go ahead and sign that. Go inside, give me my rematch on my rematch. Wouldn't that be funny? I wonder if you can do that. But I'm sure if they think about it, they can find a way to wrap you up over on that too. That fight ain't gonna be in the UK, man. If it does, more than likely to pay Andy Ruiz in the UK, they would really probably have to, they might give AJ $5-10 million. AJ would be taking a massive, like Eddie Hearn likes that word, massive pay cut to make that happen. Massive pay cut to make. Oh, and you got to pay Eddie too. Let me not forget that. Eddie got to get his underhand cash. Okay. And what about them ticket sales, dog? Dog, you think they're going to let them guys get away with? They can't even ticket scalp in the UK. That UK ticket scalping thing is out the window too. Man, I've been having so much fun. I didn't even make a video yesterday. I just listened to other people's videos, watching people that were talking all this smack, crash and burn, just horrible crash and burn. It's like the Hildenberg over there, man. Kicking people out of Facebook groups, blocking people, All that yap y'all was talking to have all of this happen. Congratulations to Andy Ruiz, man. Congratulations to Andy Ruiz. Congratulations to Fox, who more than likely is going to be airing this fight. Because Eddie Hearn, said AJ doesn't have an exclusive deal with DAZN, right? So AJ can go wherever he wants to go. Personally, I think that AJ, you need to sit your behind down. Okay, sit your behind down. Get your head right. Get your head ready. Go find a new trainer. Go find yourself a new environment. Spend your money, have fun, do something, man. Don't jump back into that. Don't jump back into that Lions den. Don't jump back into that Lions den. But of course, Eddie is gonna make you jump into that Lions den. He gonna have that chair right there. Get your ass up in there. Yeah, because you ain't the boss. AJ ain't the boss. Eddie Hearn's the boss. That's why Eddie Hearn had him running out there with concussions, and now more than likely he's gonna have to take if Eddie Hearn insists on making this fight in the UK, then Eddie Hearn's gonna turn around and make Anthony Joshua take a huge pay cut, because you know Eddie Hearn ain't trying to take no huge pay cut. Just all to save his relationship with DAZN. I saw the video that Fred from Barbershop Conversations did. Anthony Joshua met John Skipper for the first time right before that last fight. It's all craziness. But anyway, it is what it is. I find it absolutely hilarious. And with that, I'm out. Peace.